loves her milk. Come on. So her name's Peach, and she's a swamp wallaby, which we get around this area. And she's so young. She's just starting to get fur, that's why she's sort of that dirty brown colour. She's got this fine fur. Look at those beautiful big feet. Come on. Yes, you're showing off your long legs, lady. You want your milk? Here we go. Come on. Once she realises it's the milk, she gobbles onto it. Come on. Come on. Has it gone a bit cold? There she goes.
And how often do you have to feed her?
Well, when she first came into care, she was only 256 grams, which is tiny. So she needed feeding every 3 hours, round the clock. So that meant, you know, going to bed and setting my alarm on my phone and having to get up every 3 hours and feed her.
That's like a newborn.
Yes, yes. But now I've stretched her out to about 4 hourly feeds, between 4 and 5 hours, because she's getting bigger. And it's just something, I know, sometimes it's hard to get up when you're in a dead sleep and you hear your alarm go off, but I just think of her, you know, lying there being hungry, yeah. Because when she's in her mum's pouch, you know, they're attached to the teat all the time, so they just drink when they need to. Whereas, you know, now it's like, yeah, every few hours. So my name's Sharon, and I'm a member of a wildlife group called WILVO'S, who've been on the coast here for over 35 years. We rescue, rehabilitate and release native animals. We have a 24-hour hotline that is operated by a huge number of volunteers who do shifts on the hotline, so if anyone rings our general number, there'll always be someone to answer that call day and night. And I've always had a passion for our unique wildlife in Australia. They're beautiful creatures, and as I've learnt more about them, I can see that they're under so much stress just from the impacts of humans. You know, things like loss of habitat is a huge one. And then, you know, you've got the impacts of like motor vehicle accidents, and then the natural disasters, the bushfires, which, you know, we had a couple of years ago here on the coast, and was just awful because it was such a ferocious fire. It just wiped out everything. I mean, there was probably a few animals like, you know, kangaroos and wallabies that could escape, that can outrun the fire, but, you know, animals like echidnas, snakes, lizards, koalas, they just don't stand a chance, you know, and yeah, they were just annihilated. And the problem with bushfires is it's not just that initial fire that's the problem, it's afterwards, the animals that did escape and then are returning to their home area. Oh, she's back. You know, their habitat's gone, their home's gone, it's just a burnt out nothing, there's no food there, so they've got nothing to come back to. And then often they'll go into another area which is already previously occupied by other animals, and some of them can be very territorial, so that puts a strain on food resources, and you get all sorts of problems from that. You get these common brush-tail possums, they get a condition, a dermatitis that is awful, and it just eats away their skin, and it can go down into their bones, and I've seen some horrendous cases of dermatitis, and it's caused by stress. You know, too many of them in one area, you can often get that. And often it's to do, people unintentionally, you know, they feed native wildlife, they feed the possums, and the possums think, oh, that's a nice easy meal. So they'll come in there, and then you'll get others coming in, whereas in the wild they wouldn't, they'd have their own little territories and they wouldn't sort of mix. But when you get them competing for a food resource like humans feeding them, they will, that's when you get the stress dermatitis thing happening. He hit the mother in his car by accident and, you know, found the baby in the pouch. Or maybe his dog attacked the possum, that's another thing. Dogs, domestic dogs and cats are a big problem. But I thought at least he did the right thing by taking it to the vet, so, you know, it could get help. So yeah, so he's done well. He's a big healthy boy now. He weighs about 700 grams. Yeah, growing all his fur. Yeah, and he'll be released back in the wild. We have a special release officer, a couple of them that work for WILVO'S, and they search out, when possums are ready for release, they'll search out the best suitable place for them. And they all go with their box, you know, the possum boxes you see up in trees. We have them in there, so they're used to their box. So when it's time for release, their box goes with them. Our release officers source a suitable area and put the box in a tree, facing the right position and everything. And that's it. We just hope they have long, healthy lives, because we don't know what happens to them once they're released. But we give them the best possible chance in the way we raise them and release them. It's bittersweet, because you know, you hope that they're going to have a long, healthy life and that you've done all you can to give them that chance. But like I said, you just don't know, because we don't go back and revisit them and to see if they're still there. They just, once they're gone, they're gone. But then you just think it's a real privilege to have raised them and looked after them from whenever they came into your care. Yeah, and I just love it, you know, like the lack of sleep, like, you know, getting up every 3 or 4 hours for the little wallaby. I don't care. You know, people say, oh, how do you do that? And I say, I love it. I just love it. Yeah. Yes, we have regular workshops with WILVO'S, and you'll often have workshops, might specialise in birds, might specialise in possums, gliders, reptiles, things like that, because they're all specialist animals, you know, they all have their different needs. I've had squirrel gliders before. They're a very unique animal, they're very cute. Yeah, all sorts of animals. Ringtail possums too. I love ringtail possums, because we get three types of possum here in this area. We get this common brushtail, and we get another brushtail called a short ear brushtail, which are a lot darker. They're big, sort of solid possums. They're like the pit bulls of the possum world, you know. And then we get the little ringtails that are beautiful. It'd be really good if people were aware of nature more and aware of their impact on nature, particularly with domestic pets. You know, locking your cat up at night. Don't let your cat roam at night. Don't let dogs roam either. Just slowing down a bit on the roads, particularly at those crucial times, dawn and dusk, when a lot of our animals, because they are nocturnal, will be moving around looking for food. And if they do find an animal in distress, you know, ring us, ring WILVO'S. We have a 24-hour hotline. There'll always be someone to answer the phone. Yeah, marsupial species, if it's safe to do so, like often you'll get a possum that'll be in the middle of the Sunshine Motorway. Like, it's not safe to check that. Even I won't stop there. It's just, you know, it's sorry, but you can't do that. If it's safe to do so, yeah, stop, have a look. A lot of people aren't sure though where the pouch is or what a pouch is. I mean, you can see here, like Steele's a male. You can see on his tummy they're his little boy bits there. Yeah. They're his testicles. And the girls will have a pouch there. They'll just have a little line there where the pouch is. Yeah, a lot of people just aren't sure. But again, they can just ring our number and someone will come and do that for them. Yeah. There's little things you can do just in your garden, like my garden is full of native plants. Yeah. Just people planting native trees to attract native birds as food for them. Leaving big trees, like we've got that big gum tree up there. Birds will often nest in hollows in there. We've had lorikeets nesting in there and pale-headed rosellas. Yeah, just providing habitat for our species. Because it's amazing how many can adapt to urban living, like especially these guys. These are the ones that will get into people's roofs, and you know, people say, oh, there's a possum in my roof. It's always these guys, you know, the common brushtails. The ringtails they won't get in people's roofs. Yeah, and yeah, just providing, I've got a few drays in the trees out here, and often you'll get brushtails sleeping in there in the day. You'll find them and they're just sleeping in there. I had a mum with a baby in there just recently. Yeah, I love you too. That is so perfect for me because I love possums. I will wear this to death.
Yeah,
Thank you. It is beautiful.